Man, it must suck to be the Red Sox right now. They've lost 10 in a row to the Yankees. They're in last place. They seemed really dejected on their way to the airport last night after the game. Last night on the postgame, I mentioned that there's a different sound that comes off the bat when Luke Voight or Aaron Judge hit the baseball. And I wanted to show you what it looks like visualized because it's so much louder than the surrounding sound environment, the crack of their bat. So let's first watch Luke Voigt's home run, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like visualized on my end behind the curtain.
Fly ball deep left center, going back. Pilar still back on the track at the wall. See ya! A home run for Voight.
All right, now let's take a look at the visuals. As you can see, it just spikes when Luke Voight makes contact. It's easy. It makes it easy for me to cut because I can just look for the sound wave when he smashes the ball. It's even louder when Aaron Judge hits it. Here is the home run that he hit against the Boston Red Sox a couple weeks ago. It was the second of 2 home runs he hit that game, way up into the left field bleachers. Take a look.
2-0 to Judge, hit a bunch to left, he did it again! Oh!
And now here's what that looks like visually. Wow. So it's really fun to work behind the scenes and look at what these guys do and quantify just the different sound that comes off of their bat when they make contact. So, big win for the Yankees last night. Obviously, Jordan Montgomery got the start. He pitched pretty well until the rains came, and then the delay was just too long. You couldn't send him back out there without risking him getting hurt, and we cannot afford any more big-time players getting hurt. So, they sent out Luis Avalon, and he got out of the jam. But after that, I want to talk about the unsung hero of the game in my mind, and that's Mike King. Mike King went 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, 2 strikeouts, lowered his ERA to 6.59. But in my opinion, this was the best that Mike King has looked during the season so far. His sink was crazy on the ball. He was throwing strikes. He was being aggressive. He looked comfortable on the mound. He looked relaxed. You know, for the first couple of appearances that he's had, he seemed like a rookie. I mean, he seemed like he's maybe a bit nervous, maybe a bit overwhelmed by how fast the game moves at this level. But last night he seemed like he was controlling the pace. He was dictating the pace of the game, and he really ate up some valuable innings in what ended up being a low-scoring game. The Yankees needed that win. They wanted to finish off the sweep and remain in first place and have a good mindset going into this series against the Rays. And so you needed somebody to step up in the bullpen and eat up a few innings while the Yankees are trying to rest their bullpen for this crucial series against the Rays. And Mike King was the perfect guy to do that, and he stepped in and pitched 3 great innings. He's probably now unavailable for the Rays series, so it would not shock me if the Yankees even sent him down for another pitcher for the next few days. But in my opinion, if that happens, I just wanted to show some respect to Mike King because he was terrific last night. So a bit of a curious move after the game, the Yankees sent Ben Heller down to the alternate site. Now, that's an interesting move to make. I just mentioned the Yankees are about to play the Rays, a crucial series. You just used up Mike King for 3 innings, so he's probably done for the next couple of days, possibly the whole series. You know, if they're not sending him down, they're going to need another arm. And if they're sending Ben Heller down, that means that they have 1 roster spot open because, to my knowledge, they haven't recalled anybody yet. So that opens the door for a new pitcher. Will it be Nick Nelson, who we saw before? Will it be Clark Schmidt? Will it be Deivi Garcia? Would not surprise me if it's one of those guys because the Rays don't have a lot of intel on guys like Clark Schmidt or Deivi Garcia, though I would trust Clark Schmidt. He seems a bit more developed than Deivi Garcia. I would trust him to come in and pitch, but word around the campfire is the Yankees won't call him up unless they need a starting pitcher. Now, the Yankees do not have a starting pitcher scheduled for Game 3 of the series. They have Masahiro Tanaka going tonight against Blake Snell. That should be a pretty good matchup. Then Garrett Cole versus Tyler Glasnow tomorrow night, another good matchup. So this is kind of a playoff preview, which the way these pitching matchups are set up. It might be kind of reversed on the Yankees end. in the playoffs. I would imagine if the Yankees played the Rays and they could both have their druthers, Snell would line up with Garrett Cole and Glasnow would line up with Tanaka. But yeah, this should be a pretty good series, but I'm interested to find out who the Yankees call up. Tune into the post-game to find out. So I've seen a few comments about Aaron Hicks, people wanting me to comment on Aaron Hicks. I like Aaron Hicks. I think he's a good ball player. I think he's not been at his best this year, but I'm going to tell you why I think that could be. It's a combination of factors. One, he is coming back from the Tommy John surgery, so there's just a certain level of rehab that you need, a certain amount of getting used to playing before you fully trust that elbow ligament. So that's one. I think he's been taking it easy on his throws, which to me is not a bad idea. You know, if you can, take it a little easier. And then when you're, in the postseason, you let it go all out. But until then, unless your, throw is going to dictate a win or a loss in a crucial game, I mean, go at 85% instead of 100% if you're Aaron Hicks, because you don't want to re-injure that ligament. But he got off to a slow start with the bat. He was having good at-bats. He's drawing lots of walks. He's among the league leaders in walks and in on-base percentage, which says a lot because he hasn't been getting many hits. He hasn't been doing much damage with the bat. He had that one home run against Baltimore, left-handed. But what's interesting about Aaron Hicks is he's a switch hitter. And so it can take a while to work on the swing from both sides of the plate. I mean, you have to do basically twice as much work. And so with the layoff and then the unusual conditions of this year, I don't blame him for lagging behind a bit, but we started to see some good signs in this series. A couple nights ago, he hits that double off of the first base bag, took that wicked hop. And then last night, he gets out on his front foot and he drives the ball to right field. Ideally, you'd like to sit back a little better, but hey, they can't argue with the results. And he gets a double from the right side of the plate. And then he becomes the third Yankee in as many innings to lead off the inning with a home run when he just drills one off of the facing of the right field second deck. And he's got such a pretty home run swing. I did a video a couple months back now about how his home run follow-through is similar to Ken Griffey Jr. Shout out to Tom Askew, one of my buddies who pointed it out to me. But he really does have that nice, easy home run swing and a beautiful follow-through. So I like that Aaron Hicks is starting to heat up a bit. I feel like he is right on the cusp of breaking out into a very hot streak. The fact that he's been having good at-bats is very important, If you're not hitting, but you can still get on base, I mean, that's huge. And now that he is still, he's starting to hit, he's still going to have those good at-bats. That just increases your value as a player. So I think that Aaron Hicks is an underrated player, and that, he's going to continue to improve not only this season, but, in his career over the next few years. But in my opinion, he's still just keeping that position warm for the next Yankees great superstar, Jason Dominguez, who is posting, pictures and videos on Instagram of his swing and his training sessions. And I am barely able to contain my excitement. He is going to be a massive, massive asset when he arrives. Potentially a switch-hitting Mike Trout type of player. Really can't wait to see Jason Dominguez play in some actual game action. We've seen a couple of inter-squad games that he's played in. He posts some at-bats on Instagram. We saw him hit a 99-mile-an-hour fastball for a rope to center field for a base hit. Then he ripped one through the right side, left-handed. We've seen some batting practice stuff, but we really haven't gotten a chance to see Jason Dominguez in-game action. I really hope that the Yankees invite him to spring training next year, if there is a spring training next year. If they don't do the Bubble City spring training again. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. Keep your eye on Aaron Hicks. I think he's about to get hot. I'm really surprised that Gleyber Torres hasn't gone on that home run binge yet, like he's due. He's been having better at-bats. He's been getting hits, but he really hasn't broken through yet for that big home run streak where he can hit 5 home runs in 10 days, because he does that. He did it against the Orioles all season last year. So maybe the Rays is a good series to break out. The Yankees lead the division by a couple of games. I think if you can somehow extend this winning streak through these next 3 games, you can really open up some distance against the Rays. And then you can afford to give guys like Stanton, guys like LeMahieu a little extra time to get ready. So join me for the post game. I'll be back with highlights and analysis. Thanks for joining. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.